No bag fumbler, shake niggas like tumblers, swing along wood that will make a none humbler. Coach about to cramming it on every last one of you. Your school sent me a letter, said they need to get W's, big booty last year. I need to get in front of you. Oops, I dropped something, I can find this fucker anywhere. My God, I'm so embarrassed, can't believe you see my derriere. I always wear panties, you just caught me at the time of year. Busted ass trick, I know you ain't on no underwear. Coach don't pay him no attention unless he got the good head. If she extra cute, she can even keep some down there. If not, no excuse, you gonna need to get up out of here. All right, so Coach is the blackest nigga alive. Super proud of my blackness. I owe everything to Elvis and Vanilla Ice. So let's get into, kind of back into our little Nevin joke they were pulling. Right, so Coach was thinking Shapiro. You know, I've heard that a few times over the years, and I wish I could remember better whatever the hell it was in the 90s where it used to always pop up. Right? But Ben Shapiro, of course, everybody knows. Coach says this dude is as good as gone, dude. They're roasting this guy for sure. Sending him straight down to hell. Nothing about the numbers, right? Just like, so we had the Kirk, right? The Christian last year. Why not have a different religion, right? Specifically this one. Right, he's like one of the most annoying, outspoken, like right wing, like whatever, and he obviously plays the role of Dylan Mulvaney, if you didn't know. But Coach is saying what's dooming this guy is a couple of things, right? So Benjamin Aaron, why is he Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers? Right, we got the Steelers win the Super Bowl. Even if you didn't like that, they faced each other in the Super Bowl already. Right, so it's just weird. I just feel like they're gonna get rid of this dude. I said I sound like way too confident. It's just that's like a yellow. Give Coach a yellow on the threat level. Right in the middle. Like pretty confident. We're gonna need to see more, of course, but like it feels good, right? And then here Godwin Proctor. There's this guy in the draft named Proctor who's pretty likely to be a freak. Let's see, why was I, and then like Aaron, right, so it makes you think of Hank Aaron. So he got his record broken by Barry Bonds on the Pirates. The Steelers used to be the Pirates, maybe that's it, you know. Then, so I don't know how I can't remember how we got to Bob Marley, honestly, but it was weird that it was a 2/6 birthday, and he died in Miami, which they just had the national championship, and his last concert was in Pittsburgh. I know because I attended like the 25th or 30th anniversary special they did with like his whole family performing the set like that he did back in the day. All right, so 1962 years active, 26 flip. Coach kind of likes this, right? Just as a 150 center, as you'll see, I didn't max it out. I'm not in love with it, but it's like, just in case it's the Portland Trail. But then, like, the more I think about it, maybe it's just like the Portland Timbers or something. I think the Portland Timbers and Portugal would make more sense. Like, it's both the teams, right? So maybe we need to look to MLS. Like, is there another Portland team I'm just blanking on? Right, the Blazers, the Timbers. Why does nothing else sound right? They had to have at least had something before, and just nothing's coming to mind. So if Coach is dissing Portland, help him out in the comments, please. But I'm thinking Portland Trailblazers and Portugal, and I just got them one in the West because like well maybe they just pop up and lose, right? And then with the Steelers just winning the AFC, 50 cents for 200 grand. Yeah, that's real. I mean, dude, even if you're not like conspiracy minded, that's pretty good value. Like the Trailblazers, yeah, they're like dead last in the West as far as teams that are alive, but there's only like a handful of teams alive, right? There's like the 3 teams that might make the play-in, and then the rest, right? Once you get in there, anything can happen usually. So, of course, we think it's all scripted. And Coach hates that anything can happen. Coach likes to say they can do whatever the hell they want, right? So we got to figure out what they want to do. That's a goal. You can't. If anything can happen, then what the fuck are we doing? We're just going to do every single possibility and just treat it like it's real life? No. Anything can happen. Only what they want to happen will happen. Promise. All right, so that's a goal. They can do whatever they want, figure out what they want. Okay, so I might have already made this rant, but just in case, like AI not Allen Iverson, but AI narrator trying to scare you off the Sixers, right? Acting like if you, the Sixers' big three, if you want to call them that, former MVP. I said you got a former MVP, NBA 2K cover athlete, and a current All-Star starter. Like, what's a big three if that's not a big three, right? So, and like they're unselfish. They play the right way. They got a top 3 pick in the draft that, like, he's on the team and way better than what everybody expected, right? So do the math, right? They're cruising. And they're like quietly breaking weird records, right? Hey, most points in the third quarter. Oh, Paul George broke most threes. Oh, Paul George, most points in a quarter, something stupid. I can't remember. He just had some sort of record he broke in the last game. I can't remember exactly what it was. So Steele won World War II. I think it's interesting the Bessemer process looks like a football. I feel like looking at most of this shit, to be honest. Right, so Renegade coach is thinking one of the dudes from Styx is going down. Sealy McBeam, that's like Jim Beam, because Rooney, that's his favorite drink. Right, that's the joke there, I guess. So Melissa McCarthy doing the documentary on John Benet Ramsey, and Jalen Ramsey's on the Steelers. Of course, Michael Pittman was on the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? That's hilarious. Darnell Washington, Mount Washington, like, of course, perfect. I mean, it probably goes to the Redskins at some point. Let's see. Oh, my God, this is so good. So Coach was looking at that 62 playoff bowl. Remember, it was the only time the Steelers were ever in the playoff bowl. And Lombardi's team, they won the whole thing that year. They didn't play in the stupid playoff bowl. They won the Super Bowl. Or whatever, the NFL championship, right? It was just before the Super Bowl. Right, so they won the NFL championship. Steelers play in the consolatory, like, losers bowl, essentially. Right? Now, and it's the only time they ever did that. In that year, Lombardi decides to trash it. It might not have been that year. Right, but basically they're quoted and they put it right along that 62 Steelers thing. So Lombardi said, like, over and over again, like, he said hinky dink like 5 or 6 times, no exaggeration. It's like, it's a hinky dink bowl for hinky dink players on hinky dink teams in a hinky dink town with hinky dink rules. Like he literally just couldn't stop saying, like, he hammered. You bet there's no way you're remembering anything from the quote but hinky dink. And what do you know? Sam Hinkie, captain of the process, right? The sacrificial lamb, right? And you got Daryl Morey, of course, thinks Maury Povich might be going down. Let's see. Ron, his parents Ron, so we got a Ronald. So for the Ronaldo thing. Coach is a little worried about England because of Wayne Rooney. But I'm thinking Portugal beating England after beating Argentina. Like, they still get the Messi versus Ronaldo. Or maybe they're pushing that. Right, I know they're going to do Messi versus Ronaldo, and I think it's right here, right now. But to me, I actually think, if I'm right in the story, have Portugal beat Argentina right before the finals. And then beat England, who beat Brazil, or honestly, I think, like, with the Ronaldo joke, because of course Ronaldo from Brazil, it's like, I think he has to beat Brazil too. It's definitely shaky, right? But, like, it's hard with the Rooney thing to not want England all the way in the championship game with the coin toss. And then, of course, we love Ronaldo, right? But Ronaldo, Messi is smoking hot. But, like, you could just have a crazy run for them. Do they beat Brazil and Argentina on the way? Like, is it just, I mean, Ronaldo's definitely been waiting his turn. Do they just give him a dream? Like, you just get to beat up all the best teams, right? Why not throw Germany in there too or something crazy, right? So, but, maybe it doesn't feel as crazy because, like, they got more teams in, right? We got two big teams they got to beat there before beating England in the final, but that's not all the rounds, right? So maybe they somehow face a Cinderella that's like kind of they just get to coast and regroup before having to go against another juggernaut, right? That would pace it out a little bit better for them. So let's see, what did Trev say? So Macy Gray in a play about 9/11 Her album that ruined her career came out 6 days after 9/11, but she promoted the wrong date. And she performed at the concert for New York City, which was the benefit for 9/11. Well, I might as well just rattle them all off, and if we go past the screens, I'll just pass it. So, like, William H. Macy says he would have, there would have been more casualties if he was on the plane, like he's popped up and said it. So, this is interesting to Coach right here. So, a female ref is suing the NFL, and keep in mind, Coach wants to talk about the NFL versus USFL, like versus Donald Trump thing. Like, keep in mind, Trump doesn't like the NFL, right? He owned a USFL team, and the USFL is back, okay? And, of course, Trump owned a New York franchise. But Coach has been thinking about how everything went down, and basically, the USFL, they won their lawsuit. They went after the NFL, claiming that the NFL had a monopoly. A judge ruled they were right, but a jury awarded them damages of $1. Like, how is the NFL a monopoly, but it's only costing another league $1? Well, it was because, like, the USFL was, like, managed so poorly, they couldn't really prove financial damages because it's like they were kneecapping themselves the entire way. Well, what do you know? Coach loves the model for the modern UFL, right? So I'm thinking, if they just keep doing things right, if they start to go under, have a little bit of trouble, throw a Hail Mary lawsuit at the NFL, and you got precedent, and if you got the accounting books, to show, some sort of correlation between how the NFL impacted you financially, which doesn't seem impossible to do, they could bankrupt the NFL, right? So Coach isn't attached to the NFL. What does the NFL stand for? No fun league and not for long. Now you're probably like, no way the NFL's going away. What's the fucking NFL? You care about the NFL? Like, this is what I don't get about people. You like the teams and the players. You don't like the NFL with its janky, stupid rules that are always changing and don't make any sense, and busted refs, right? Replacement refs, whatever, always cutting corners. The NFL sucks. You're a moron if you like the NFL. You like the franchises and the personalities that happen to work with and or for the NFL, right? So every single one of these teams and owners is bigger than the stupid branding not for long and no fun league. The hell is the NFL, right? So, like, even Mutant Football League sounds a billion times better, right? There's definitely room for improvement, I promise, right? And, you're so, like, obsessed with the Lombardi Trophy. I'm sure they can come up with, like, an even cooler trophy. That's the Belichick Trophy or whatever the hell, the Tom Brady, whatever the hell they want to call it, right, in the new league. And nobody's saying your teams are going away. They would just leave the NFL. We'd lose some. I can do without the Panthers, the Texans, bring back the Oilers. This Vegas expansion team, they can fold, right? I'm not super attached to the Bengals. I'd rather have the Canton Bulldogs back. Like, of course, you'd keep the Patriots. Of course, the Packers would stick around. You're going to keep the Eagles. You're going to keep the Steelers. None of those teams are they might leave town, but they're still going to be in whatever the big league is. Niners, they're not going anywhere. Rams, they're not going anywhere. You might lose. I mean, they've kind of established the Seahawks at this point, but, like, I don't know. Something about... Like, the Dolphins, I feel like, are untouchable because of the perfect season thing. But, like, I could kind of see the Seahawks going. But, like, or the Seahawks leaving Seattle or something. Like, maybe there's something we're missing there. Like, they started in Miami. I don't feel super attached to them. But, like, they're more on I'd still feel like they're not going to go away immediately. Like, at the very least. Like, it's not some awful... Like, the Texans stand out like a sore thumb. They're doomed. Panthers, they suck. But, like, the Panthers, maybe they just need to go somewhere else. I mean, honestly, like... So like the steel, maybe they open a big steel mill somewhere else, and even though Pittsburgh and Steelers are one and the same, the Steelers go there, but then Pittsburgh gets the Carolina Panthers, right? Just like the you know what I mean? Like there's always a billion tricks they can do. But anyways, Coach went way off on a tangent there. I apologize. This is good. There's no way there isn't sexism in the NFL. You think refereeing's that fucking hard? A woman's too stupid to learn the fucking rule book and blow a whistle? They're the best Karens in the world. You're an idiot if you don't think a woman could be a ref, right? So I absolutely believe she's got a case, and she's probably gonna win, right? And they can't even fucking get enough refs. Like, there's your answer. You're gonna go hire people that are like, just grab some dudes off. Like, I swear it's the NFL's definitely got some boys club thing going on. Them and the UFC, they're both going down hard. Probably WWE too. That's why AEW's around, right? Don't get too attached to the leagues, right? If WWE folded tomorrow, every wrestler that matters would go right to the other promotion, right? So there was some weird thing here. Right, so Hurley definitely had his moment. You had the buzzer beater. They've got the longest active, streak in the Sweet 16 or beyond, so it's perfect timing for them to drop. Like, why do they need to extend the streak, right? Just let somebody else come and break it later. So I'm definitely... Although there is some weird thing to where it's like how the last 3 times Duke and UConn met, the winning team won, but, last 3 times... You want me to flip a coin, see how long it takes to get 3 heads in or 4 heads in a row, or 3 heads and a tails? Like, it's that doesn't feel too convincing to me. We've seen way bigger streaks go down even very recently. Let's see, what was this? Sorry. Oh yeah. So there's this thing. So Coach wanted to do a video yesterday. Well, Coach is actually going to attach a video that I did do yesterday, so I'm going to mention kind of that it's April Fool's, but this part is recorded the next day. And what else was it? Or of course, in our land it's New Year's, because we're not, we're not clowns. So what the hell? Oh yeah, they launched the rocket, the Artemis, right? So Artemis, that's like Art Rooney. And get this, the Angels, owner or GM or something, owner I think, is Art Marino. Like Dan Marino went to Pitt. Isn't that weird? Let's see, Rocket Ball. So Coach, the Daryl Morey, he was from the Rockets. If they go against the Clippers, they were in San Diego with the Rockets. If it's them, Coach is actually very concerned. Not so much concerned. Coach has just started shifting his bets, mainly because they don't let me take Sixers Clippers anymore. So do it that way, you will. But like I said, you can, but they're not letting Coach take it. It's been a while. Coach actually, I just realized I cut that part out. But Coach did a live betting thing, but I kind of just screenshotted my slips and some of my slips, and we'll go over them. But anyway. Coach is concerned we're going against the Suns because Mikal Bridges wins hometown championship of Villanova, national championship, gets drafted by the Sixers. His mom works for the Sixers. They immediately trade him to the Suns for nothing because they're idiots, right? So, of course, Charles Barkley to the Suns. The Colangelo thing, Colangelo was with the Suns. We got his son to be our GM, who was horrible, right? So, And I'm almost positive the Suns have been tanking or got to where they are through tanking, just like the Sixers. And we know Arizona's mad cursed thanks to Trevor reinforcing that. I knew the Cardinals were cursed, but I completely forgot about the Coyotes. So, yeah, we don't worry about Arizona at all. I don't think the Suns could possibly beat the Sixers in the finals. So I would love for them to go head-to-head, especially if it's a Charles Barkley ritual. It makes perfect sense. So... let's see. So, there's this rocket ball. Gender neutral, all the way up, equal footing, all disciplines and all levels. So, Coach says this is the future. They say dodgeball, lacrosse, hockey mixed together. This is some stupid April Fool's BS. Okay, so, this was too. They did the first man mission to the moon in forever, right? I forget since how long. I should look into that. But Cal Poly, dual sport athlete, Okay. So first black man to pilot a flight around the moon. So they told us forever that they lost the technology, right? And Trump, like, so with Reagan, he had the Star Wars. Now we got Space Force. Trump would definitely want to do something like this just as like a PR stunt. And if people told him it was impossible, he wouldn't listen, right? Like, if you do it before, you do it now, right? Like, so Trump seems like, I heard this has been delayed a bunch of times. So Coach says this is like doomed to fail anyways. And then if they're putting a black guy as the face of the like he's the one in charge of the flight basically, and they're telling you there's black fatigue, right? And Jason Whitlock right now is talking about the exciting whites in college basketball, so I just feel like they're setting this guy up since they took the Rooney Rule away. I think they're setting this guy up as a scapegoat for why affirmative action is wrong, which of course it is, because like any sort of bias towards race or sex or whatever is wrong. So I think they're gonna scapegoat this guy, but really everybody's gonna know it was Trump's fault, right? But so like it's a little bit of both. Like it's called Artemis Jr., right? It's like Art Rooney Jr. and the other art, right? The Angels art. Jerome Glover, of course, like Donald Glover. Ha ha ha. Can you think of more? Danny Glover, I guess, would be the other one. Coach didn't think about that till just now. I should have looked up Danny Glover. So let's see. Victor. Damn, that came up a bunch of times. So he's from Prosper, Texas, and lived on Prosperity Street. Raised on Prosperity Street. Dad from Prosper, Texas. Live long and prosper. Star Trek. What is it? What is it, y'all? All right. So they tell you what it is, but Coach can't tell you what it is. At least I'm not going to, because you can figure it out. Coach just wants to say this to Trevor, right? So Coach isn't like agreeing with this meme or whatever. I just think I know why your thing got flagged. And it's because you said a particular sex, flip a coin there, immediately before saying the word robot. And I think the AI overlords thought you were like doing some sort of incel speak, right? So just wanted to, that's why I brought this up here. So thought that was funny. Of course, of course we know you were actually talking about a robot and not calling an actual woman a robot, but I think the AI didn't know that. So that's my take. So if you wanted to know, we were going to go to war with Iran and the Seahawks were going to win the Super Bowl, you would have thought of Iran by Flock of Seagulls, right? Who, of course, have like the exact same hair as Trump. I thought I took a picture, but I guess I didn't, right? So pretty much the only thing they're known for is the crazy hair. They even make fun of it in The Wedding Singer, right? And let's see. But yeah, so like Iran and Seahawks, like seagulls. And then, so Coach just wanted to shout out, Robin, like that you're coming up with your own picks. Coach isn't like taking your pick and balling it up in the trash and lighting it on fire. Please don't take it that way. Initially, I was very skeptical. I still am very skeptical of the pick, of course. But like at first, I was like, man, I don't know at all. That sounds horrible, right? And then I thought it through, and I was like, okay, I'll give it at least a 1% chance. Like it's a non-zero chance. And then I floated it to my buddy, right, who helps me, that you've met the one time, and we did a video that we lost the audio for just a minute ago, that you didn't get to hear. But he immediately was, what? No way. Right, but the more I broke down, like everybody, at least we're all in agreement, there's no way it's the Seahawks winning. Okay? I think the big curse you're missing is the one that hasn't happened yet, which is Darnold's going to be on the Madden cover almost certainly. or in Jigba, who just became like the highest paid receiver ever. Like, who else is it going to be but one of the Seahawks? So, although, like, teams only get on every so often, like, maybe they're just going to go with, like, I don't know. Can I think of anybody that hasn't been on? I don't know if I've seen a Bengal. I can't think any Bengals ever been on the cover. Maybe they'll somehow do Burrow or something, right? It's not like he's the only face in the world, right? Or maybe we luck out and it's like a defensive Madden, right? So they want like T.J. Watt or Myles Garrett or something, right? And the last Brown was Peyton Hillis. So, but yeah, I think I would put Darnold. I think Darnold has to be the odds-on favorite for the Madden cover. I honestly think Garrett is a good pick too, because we have the Browns being kind of shitty this year. Like, we all know exactly what they're doing. We really don't think they're going to make it all the way to do the Lions thing. So, like, as far as, like, I told you yours is like a 1% or above. As far as a 0% or below, right, absolute non-starter, is Browns versus anybody but Lions. Lions versus anybody but Browns, right? Literally, they can't face anybody else until they face each other. There's very few teams that are, like, completely locked in, like, that solid. Right, even with the Steelers, it's like, yeah, like against the Packers, maybe they're doing Steagles, and they go against the Eagles. They're only a couple of years removed from the Super Bowl, right? They already did the card pit with the Steelers versus Cardinals, and they beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship that year, right? But, like, it just feels, with the last two drafts, Green Bay, and then this year is Pittsburgh. Coach kept saying Chicago last year, but that's because I kept getting confused because they had the number one pick and took Caleb Williams. But, yeah, so last two drafts, right, so that's a little ritual they could do, have them face each other. It's a rematch. They love that. They moved, of course, the head coach and the Hall of Fame quarterback to the new team. The Steelers have, like, crazy value right now, and the only reason they do is because Aaron Rodgers hasn't officially committed to a comeback. So, on paper, the Steelers' starting quarterback is Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, or whoever they can draft at number 21. Right? So, obviously, we know Rodgers is doing the old Brett Favre, routine and just teasing them. Like, why would McCarthy come to town if he's not pairing up with Rodgers for 1 year, right? Like, yeah, I could understand Rodgers not coming back if it was for Tomlin. Of course he's going to come back for McCarthy. That's just stupid to think he wouldn't get a one more shot. He's in his early 40s. He's not that old, right? We've seen guys already, like in the 90s, QBs play about to his age. So that's not too crazy. Let's see. And then, but like I think the Madden curse is strong. I think, like I said, just the cap, the difference with their cap situation, players going versus like who they can. Then so I haven't like tracked their off season to a T or anything like that. Yeah, there is a little bit of interest between like Kenneth Walker went to the Chiefs, but I mean, it's just Kenneth Walker. Like, yeah, that's a big blow for the Seahawks, but is he going to revolutionize the Chiefs, right? And, like, you really... I mean, I kind of get your point with, like, the Fields thing. Like, like the mentor him up or whatever, right? But, like, that's... I think it's way more interesting if, like, so Fields comes in, plays well, Mahomes gets, the urge to come back and try to win the Super Bowl, and then, like, loses in the playoffs, like, almost right away, right? And then you're like, oh, what is Mahomes? What should they have stuck with Fields? And then Reed lets Fields walk, rides with Mahomes, or decides to keep Fields, sends Mahomes to Dallas, or whatever, one or the other. But to me, of course, then after this little QB weirdness, Mahomes proves he's the man by getting to the Super Bowl, losing to the Redskins just next year. Like, we're only 1 year away from having the Chiefs in the Super Bowl anyways. We got a billion reasons to love that. I mean, whatever you have, there's no way it's topping them disrespecting Taylor's memorial. Taylor, right? Am I getting confused? Jason Taylor? Who was that? Sean Taylor. Right? Of course, we just had Lawrence Taylor's records getting broken. So, like, they disrespected Sean Taylor's memorial, like with Jackson Mahomes. Right? So that means it's of course, Mahomes is the important one to go against. But Skins and Cowboys, they can't go against each other. And we've got so many connections. You got the Kirk Cousins thing, the Alex Smith thing, all the weird connections with the Theismann shit. Like, of course, we feel amazing. We got the numbers right, too. And then what do you know? Who's hosting the draft? It's going to be D.C. They're going to be going back to D.C., right? How Coach called that way in advance, remember? When it was, like, barely even a whisper. And Coach told you how it was going to go down because of RFK, right? He was going to be the guy to push it. And so they're going to get the branding back with the Skins because Trump's perfectly in office. They're going to be back in D.C., which Coach showed you, like, with undeniable proof that D.C. Skins football was the shit. You would have wanted to be at that stadium. That shit was literally bouncing like, holy hell, it's the coolest crowd I've ever fucking seen. I wouldn't have worn dresses with the goofy-ass hogs. Right, but like the upper deck with the hose, oh my god, that shit was fucking banging, right? So, Coach is all about the Washington Redskins. He's not about whatever the hell they are right now, right? The what the fuck team. So, like that to me, like that just makes perfect sense, right? And we know the Skins would win that one, right? So have Mahomes get back to the Super Bowl, but lose again, right? And it's like, oh man, back-to-back Super Bowl losses. Is he done winning? And we don't know when he'd pop up and win, but like near the end of his career, get a little, like he doesn't need to have a billion Super Bowl. Like if we've got him losing the next two, that's 5 out of 6 Super Bowl appearances. Like there's just no way. Are they really doing that? Like that's just so much Chiefs. Like they're moving out of the state and stuff. Like I don't want to spend too much time on it. I just wanted to say, like, not trying to completely crush it. Just and like I'll put 50 cents on it, combined with Sixers and Mayweather tie. And Coach has one more fight. He likes, if you can somehow get Carano to beat Rousey, definitely take that too. So remember we were talking about the Macy stuff. So Mace, of course, Harlem World, right? So nice. And then check this out. Who's his producer? Ronald Amon-Ra Lawrence. Damn. Right. So, and what do you know? Supported Donald Trump's campaign. And do you think it's a coincidence they use his song as the theme song for freaking McDonald's, right? Who just won the Super Bowl? Tom McDonald, right? Sam Darnold. So, yep. There you go. And let's see. Here's so you're using it to Darnold to put Mahomes, like Mahomes Darnold. I don't think they need that. I just don't. That's just not doing it for me. I'd rather see like Rodgers Mahomes, if anything. Like, of course, we like, that's not to say anything. There's always some weird exceptions, right? Dilfer or something, but, like, that Ravens team was, you had a billion reasons to like them. As far as the tell on the Ravens, in Coach's opinion, they're supposed to be like a warning of some sort. So, like, they pop up during, like, extreme events, right? So, in Coach's opinion, their two so far was Y2K and then the Mayan calendar. So I've got them good for 2030, right? Agenda 2030 sounds about right. And then, so what was this? Artemis Fowl. So you got Julius Roots, Dr. J. Let me look at him. Coach just wanted to say, like, he can't believe people are drooling all over this, like, figure skater. Like, she's the most mid girl in the world. Like, honest to God, one time, Coach hooked up with a girl who looked exactly like this. And, like, his buddy, like, kind of busted him. And I lied and said, like, oh, no, definitely not. I swear. Right? So I just don't get that at all, that people act like that thing is smashable. No way. Don't do it. Let's see. Oh, my God. Look at this fucking thing. This is the NASA. Whoa, Mr. NASA, nothing in the eyes at all. Predator teeth. Isn't that like some anime, like, shape-shifting demon thing that's about to eat you? Oh, my God. Man, Coach had a crazy breakthrough with his buddy. Okay, his buddy has never budged 1 inch on the dual role actors thing, but I made him kind of accidentally come up with one, right? Like, usually I think the best way to do it is start comparing until like you think of like that one last one's like, oh yeah, this one's really obvious, right? So we're like Willem Dafoe, right? I'm like, is this Mick Jagger? Right? And it's like, yeah, probably. Is it Billy Idol? Maybe, probably. Whoa, Dennis Leary? Dennis Leary and Willem Dafoe, you're trying to tell me that's not the same person? The nose is different, but he's just got a fake nose on the Leary one. Right? I mean, it's probably all a mask. Right? But the teeth and the freaking eyes, oh my God, the hair's even very similar. Very similar. Oh my God, like they just exaggerate the part more on Dafoe and curl it more on the one side. That's crazy. And Coach thinks these two are the same. This fittest flat earther and Jake the Awake. I think it's just like Jake in a muscle suit or something with like the weird jaw thing add on. I don't know. They're talking about the Angels leaving Anaheim right on cue. That's perfect for us, right? So let's see. I do want to ultimately say, like, you know, I know I've already said it, but, like, I really do appreciate you coming up with your own stuff. And Coach really isn't throwing away Chiefs Seahawks. It's on the table. Like, the card is written. It's placed there. It's just, it's not leaping off the counter to Coach. Like, Coach is still like a moth to a flame with the Steelers Packers. Like, I just really think we really, really got something there. The more I think about it, like, so for example, that Yukon girl, Azzy Fudd, like Fudd, that's like Elmer Fudd, Looney Tunes, Acme, the Packers. They were the Acme Packers in 1921. They used to be the Blues. We just had the Blue Crew and the Blue Jays in the World Series. You know, I mean, like, it's just a lot. It's going to take a lot to get me off Steelers Packers on this one. Like I said, anything short of Brady and Belichick coming to town probably for Browns and Lions specifically is not going to move the needle for me. But Angels leaving Anaheim, like, of course Anaheim sucks. It sucks. Like, they make fun of it all the time. That's how I know it sucks. I've never been there. I don't know anything about it except what the media says, right? So, Art Marino, right? So, Dan Marino, you had no Sean Marino, of course, was a Dolphin, right? And let's see, so their stadium, or like their lease expires. Here's your Art Marino. You tried to get the Arizona Diamondbacks. That would fit in with like the Suns thing, kind of, huh? There's the Jerry Colangelo thing. What? How did I miss that? I swear. I think because it was highlighted, like I assumed I had read that part. But it's just because I had already done Jerry Colangelo. Oh my God, dude. Whoa. One of the first people to congratulate Marino after the news was Diamondbacks owner Jerry Colangelo. Okay. I do want to say, you know, like, a lot of times, like, I feel like the more down the rabbit hole we are and like the hotter we are, the more like we always have to be honest and be like, they really could be doing either one of these. Like, case in point, Patriots, Rams, Patriots, Seahawks. Like, you really want to tell Coach Patriots, Rams was a shitty script? Like, I fucked up that bad? Where I fucked up was not recalibrating like I did after the Eagles, Redskins, Rocky Curse incident, we'll call it, right, where we had the Skins beating the Redskins then, or the Skins beating the Chiefs then, and being the Eagles beating the Skins, and we had to recalibrate, and Coach figured out all the things the Eagles had going their way as far as the numbers, and like, oh, this is no doubter, especially with the revenge narrative, right? Sirianni getting fired by Reed, right? Reed had already gotten over on his former team. Why would he do it again, right? So it just felt perfect. The only thing, there was some weirdness, right, with like Hurts being there, but we believed in Tanner McKee because he was like the next full. So like the only surprise really was that Hurts stayed under. So you know what, he didn't. Fucking Pickett came in. I wonder if that's how they weaseled it. Like somehow another QB, like them subbing out Hurts, somehow, like even though the game was already in hand, like that had to happen for this game to occur. Like, because why else was he in there to take the knee? Right? It was, and why not Tanner McKee, if anything? Kenny Pickett? Definitely something weird there. Coming from the Steelers, you know what I mean? Like, that seemed like a nod to the Steelers, right? Like, what the hell else was that about? So, anyway, so they got Trout. I like that just because, he's still been there. Like, they've won, like, their first 2 games, like, in forever. The Guardians are pretty hot now, too. Of course, we would want Carlos Estevez to come to town, but Coach he did put in a few slips that said Guardians versus Mets. I don't really know which way it would go, to be honest with you. But I do think that's we loved that matchup last year. Right now we've had more weird stuff with LaGuardia, and plus the Queens stuff, more reasons to like Queens. So they had some weird thing to where it was like they failed to make the postseason each time, even though they had an MVP roster on the season for 4 out of 10 seasons, right? So, Angels could just be cursed. But they certainly gave a lot of good karma to old Dodgers, didn't they? Who cashed in. I really feel like they got a little bit of goodness coming back their way for that. So February 26th, we like that a lot. That's why when he purchased the radio station. So, and that, look, every single one of those numbers is a 2, 6, or a 0, right? So 226 2006. All right, so we like that. And he endorsed Trump, saying it's very necessary to vote for Trump. Here's no Sean Dolphins, in case you doubted me. I thought it was very interesting. Check this out. His first name is a portmanteau. I think he's from Puerto Rico too, isn't he? Puerto Rican, and his first name is a portmanteau. Okay, so I'm like, what the hell is a portmanteau? So it's a blended word, like smog, fog, and smoke, right? And Jalen apparently is a portmanteau. It's Jason and Leonard. It says it right here in this article. So, we had Jalen Hurts win. So right now Trump is gerrymandering. There's another portmanteau. Schaub. I want to talk about Schaub just for 1 second. One thing people miss about him. I'll bet it's that one of the Trailer Park Boys. Right? Is it Ricky? Right? Who has that weird way of speaking that Kat knew the term for, where it's like you say the wrong word entirely instead of what you mean. Like it might kind of sound similar, right? But it's like basically when you do it, you just sound like a complete buffoon, right? So I can't remember what they called it, but you get what I'm saying. Schaub speaks like that, and it's like at least very interesting. Like, oh, what was it that he said? He said something freaking insanely stupid, like he always does. But like it's the type of stuff that's gonna make people click. Like it's like how I said like the engagement farming, like they'll intentionally misspell like a thumbnail or something to make you click on and correct them. Like that's how Schaub talks, right? Like he's the king of engagement, right? People love to hate him more than anybody, and they're gonna love him again, I promise. Let's see. So Brexit. There's the Jalen example. So like Billary, Benifer, you get it. Tomcat, San Francisco. Nothing really good under the Portuguese thing. So Coach thinks right here, this is our Brownies hosting this, the team that hasn't won since 1964. Host Super Bowl 64 and blow that shit. That's when they're finally going to give you all the numbers Coach has been giving you this whole time, but you won't have enough time to figure out the lines. I've been set up for it the whole way. So Coach can't like show like the videos or whatever, but like these are very obviously fake, like bright orange, like there's like fireworks exploding and shit. So Coach's next 5, let's do a little recalibration. Steelers over Packers, yeah. Redskins over Chiefs, definitely. Giants over Patriots. The Patriots is like the question mark there. The Giants have this weird pattern to where they win a championship, Super Bowl, right? So pre-Super Bowl era, they didn't have this pattern. So that could be a concern. But in the Super Bowl era, they won 2 Super Bowls within 4 years. Like, it was a 4-year gap exactly. And then 21 years from each of those, they won 4 years apart, right? So they have 4 total. But, like, they're all 4 years and 21 years apart, right? 21 years apart with a 4-year gap between, right? So to follow that through to the next, they would win, like, 2028, 2032, right? So if it's the Giants, right, that matches after, the Macy's Day Parade fiasco, or whatever you want to call it, attack. And, the Patriots, you get that rematch again. Yankees and Patriots, basically, Giants and Patriots. Like, maybe they do Giants and Jets. Maybe this year it's Yankees and Mets, and you get Giants and Jets. Like, I definitely wouldn't throw out an all New York thing. I wanted to say that to Robin. Chargers versus Rams is fire. There's no way they're not doing that eventually. So, like, they could even be doing that right now. I would take the Chargers probably. So, I mean, like, they look similar. They're playing in the same building, right? So, but the thing with that is, like, LA versus LA is, like, never gonna not be awesome. So they can do it whenever. Like, I'm not jumping to say it's right here, right now. But if that's one of those every single year, the rest of your life, you put in one ticket, that's Chargers versus Rams. Coach thinks eventually you're going to get paid on that. Although it could be after you're dead, but they're going to do it. I'm with you on that. And then, of course, Lions over Browns, Ravens over Colts. The coach is thinking get that Baltimore Colts thing back. The Colts are cursed from the Peyton Manning thing. Peyton Manning will just help the Lions break that curse because he did that weird ritual with Bobby Lane. And then, his rivalry with Brady. Is there something weird I'm missing to where, like, by this time, the Browns, they have Belichick, and somehow he's gotten Manning out of retirement? Like, does Manning, like, lose to the team he uncursed with his arch rival? Like, Brady over... There's no way they do 2. Fuck it. I really think it'd be... I like the young cat. Like, Shador is the youngest versus Brady. There's no way you're going to rip Shador out of there unless he's going somewhere. I mean, he definitely hasn't endeared himself in Cleveland. Like, I mean, Cleveland hasn't endeared itself to Shador. His fan base, right? Cleveland's kind of been shitty to him so far. Like the team, not the city, right? So the Browns, they've been kind of not great by him so far. So I could see him jumping ship and avoiding a Super Bowl loss too. But he does definitely help make that the most watched Super Bowl ever. I forgot his idol's Brady. Yeah, they're doing Shador Brady. I'm pretty positive on that. Plus, like, the numbers, like, gimmick. Yeah, so they're not moving Shador anyway. Sorry, I just had to think that one through. Peyton will probably just be sitting on the sideline or something, or in the booth. And then, like, Ravens versus Colts, hard to see from this far out. Is that even Lamar's Ravens anymore? How did the Colts bounce back? I mean, they had their owner die. They should have stuff start going their way, you would think. Let's see. So I think those rules are in front of the next one. My thumb's hurt. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, yeah, check this out, dude. Why the hell is Aaron Rodgers? Remember, it's Aaron Charles Rodgers, by the way, like Charles Woodson, who won the Super Bowl with him. But why is his only sibling Jordan Rodgers, not only like Jordan Hudson, of course, but like Jordan Love, who we got the Steelers going against in the Super Bowl? Like, come on, yeah. They've got some weird tournament in college basketball that doesn't look right to coach at all. WVU and Stanford, I guess, is more interesting than I gave it credit for. Oklahoma, Colorado, there's something there. It's just not to my taste. Same with the Baylor in Minnesota. Like, that's just kind of a weird one. The Rutgers and Creighton or whatever, I'm just like, meh. That's, so as far as, like, I guess I would be rooting for WVU the most. I would respect Stanford the most. Baylor can have some good basketball teams for sure. give me WVU Baylor. Look at that. I mean, come on. There's some sort of social media site that's like only bots and there's no humans allowed. They're saying they're entering the age of techno-Marxism. Algorithms manage human souls. Here's yes, that's what the shit's over. Yeah, that's what I think got you flagged. Newbies, politics is fake as WWE. It's not even real. Gnostics, this entire reality isn't real. So what kind of comments are you gonna get on a post like this, right? It's gonna be bots that are like, I'm so depressed because nothing matters and I just can't stop doing horrible things and hating myself. It's like, eye roll, like so soft, right? So just because your reality isn't real doesn't mean what you do doesn't matter, you stupid fuck. Obviously it matters or someone wouldn't have bothered to make it, right? Just because it's artificial doesn't mean it's not real, right? They show you that with fake tits. They're still there. They just suck, right? Your life sucks. It's not fake, right? Even though it's fake, if you get me, right? So I like that, like, people act like that's a photo and not like just like the Madden engine, and then people see stuff in the Madden engine and be like, it's so realistic. Like, no, it's just the same technology they use to make your stupid sport. So Christmas parade attack, and like, they can do holograms because of like the Tupac stuff, so don't even talk to me. So 62, you flip that for the 26. Let's see. $6.2 million. So there's your Whitlock doing his most hated man in media routine. Ashland Jackson's legendary buzzer beater. There's the AJ again, like Alshon Jeffrey. AJ Brown. There's the William H. Macy thing. Jake Paul might save the UFC. All right, why the hell would he save the UFC? He's going to bury him. So Guardians looking good. Sam Macy Barber pooped her pants. Is Netflix MMA a threat to the UFC? Of course it is. So when the Macy's Day Parade thing goes down, right, there's one parade that's older by a couple years, the one in Detroit, which of course Trump said all of America would look like Detroit if liberals got elected, right? So his beloved New York goes to shit on his watch, getting attacked because of a war he just started and is already losing. But at the same time, it allows him, like, everybody's going to know it's an inside job. He's going to get blamed just like Bush, and they're going to say he did it so he could stay president, because the only way he can stay president is if you get attacked on your own soil, right? So he's gonna stay through at least like 2033. Yeah, I think he goes down like early in what would be his fourth term. I don't know if he wins elections or what, exactly. But he's going to do the FDR thing. It's like right on the 100th anniversary. There's probably going to be another depression. There's probably going to be a World War III. I mean, we're hitting like the 100th anniversary, like all this stuff. So we're probably like, if they're doing it like right on the 100th anniversary or whatever, like it would be, we'd have the depression here in just a couple years, which tracks. And then like maybe we actually have World War III and World War IV like 15 years apart, or we're just waiting for World War III in like 15 years. I don't think you're getting World War III right here, right now. It takes a while for dominoes to fall. There's only, a handful of things in place right now. I think everybody would have to start showing their hand a bit more, but Coach doesn't follow all the time. So Duncan Thanksgiving Day Parade. So Coach has Jennings Dunker going to the Packers on his mock draft because of Greg Jennings, and he just looks like a Packer with the long red hair, flowing out. So Hudson Company, there's our Jay Hudson too, so that's our Jordan Hudson, with the Belichick thing. Right, so, or maybe this one might be the second oldest. Years active, 99. It shares, so it's the second oldest. Okay. Oh, it shares second oldest with the Macy's Day Parade. It's 4 years younger than the Philly one. Okay, so somehow I didn't look at the Philly one. That's next on the list. All right, so I'm going to screenshot that so I remember. But so the Philly one's next on the list. Somehow Coach missed that. I thought it was like all one thing there. So it's tied with Macy's, right? Of course, Detroit Lions play on Thanksgiving every year. I wonder if something goes on with the Philly one. Like, I feel like something's got to happen to where the Detroit one will eventually be the oldest. Like, the Philly one and the Macy's, they both seem tenuous to me. And, like, keep in mind, you know, parades have been a popular target. You've had, like, people taking the SUV route, if you will. Or you know, with the Tesla out front of the exact same place we're already talking about. Right? They always do the false alarm. If you remember with the towers before, they said they found bangs and they diffused them. And then same thing with the Oklahoma City, right? They had a false scare. And then let's see. Oh shit. Plus we got like the Olympics and stuff, or the World Cup. We're hosting the World Cup this year. I'll bet I wouldn't be surprised if we get like a close call. Right? Like, oh, they found something just like what was it, Richard Jewell? Right, I wonder if Richard Jewell pops up. Didn't we have some weird Jewell thing going on with college football, if I'm not mistaken? What was that down there? Art Van Furniture. Art Van Furniture. Okay, so then that's the naming rights of the parade. This is also Marshall's, like Marshall Mathers. Just like the next oldest department store behind Macy's or something. Or Hudson's was. Hudson's was like apparently like the best company ever, and they'd let you return stuff even if you had it for years, and like they'd make like $100 million a year, but like 25 million would be return losses. But they said it was a small price for customer loyalty. So of course the better company is can always get host. So film tower heist takes place during a parade. The parade we're talking about here. So very interesting, right? What's that about? You know, let me move the method to 50-50 likelihood, right? So as far as like the likelihood of an attack, I got it at highest orange alert you can get, right below sure thing, can't miss, right? Like I think for sure they're doing this. But as far as like the method, give me a 50-50 coin toss, like maybe it is the plane, but let's keep an open mind towards, do people just take over the tower like Die Hard style? Right? And like hold a bunch of hostages in Trump Tower? I could see that for sure. So, let's see. Yeah, symbol of resilience. Someone on Reddit already predicted the plane thing with Trump Tower, right? But so this is like just proof about like the Macy Barber fight. Like you can see, she was more lit up than my girl Miranda Maverick. Here's just some more Keen Peele glances at them doing the cross-dressing routine. Billy Joe Armstrong, you know, keep an eye out for him. Macy Day Parade, Night of the Living Dead is on its way, stuffed in a coffin, mausoleum. What else was it had about him? Foxborough, right? You know, Patriots were just in the Super Bowl. Cover-ups, right? That could be a clue. And that's going to be a cover-up. Let's see. Brady asked about possible comeback. Like, why would he do that if he's not coming back? I think he's got to be in his 50s at least. Maybe exactly 50s, right? Maybe it's mid-50s, like I said, and it's the 64 Super Bowl. I'm leaning towards that. So, of course, Mike Holmgren and Mike McCarthy, right? So Mike and Mike, they had Mike Tomlin versus Mike McCarthy, Mike Wallace on the team, right? This is a billion Mikes. So, let's see. Of course, we got Mike Tyson coming back. So Favre came to the team in 92, 26 flip. Lambeau, Bo Biden, Maybe he drops dead. Jerome Boger was a ref, of course, like Jerome Bettis, Jerome B. They had to have Jerome B again. Donald Drivers or Donald Trump. Oh, Isaac Redman, Method and Red. That's Redman, the rapper, I guarantee it. Redman, sneaky. Okay, and then so the dude did the coin toss was Deion Sanders. They had Emmanuel Sanders on the team. We've got maybe Barry Sanders goes down soon, right? Or you know what? Hasn't Deion been in poor health, right? Wouldn't that make you feel bad for poor Shador? So Coach bought this movie for $3 at a thrift store like last week, and I watched it. This is probably the best boxing movie I've ever seen. Leguizamo is not typically my favorite, right? Especially as a lead. But, I mean, this was made by HBO Films. You know, of course, HBO is like the king of boxing. And, I mean, the punches, like a coach usually can't watch a boxing movie like at all because the actual boxing is like so bad. But think about like how good the basketball is in Blue Chips. That's like how good the boxing is in this movie. I'm not saying it's 100% on point, but it's way watchable, right? Like it's not like breaking the immersion, right? And it's not like substituting for plot. Like the fights aren't way too drawn out, right? Like they do unique camera angles. Like it's always engaging, and it's more about like the story behind it. I like they ended it on a cliffhanger. Like you have to make up your own mind what happened. But check out this clip. Oops, hold on, I might have screwed up. Let's start over. Oh, you know what? I don't think I grabbed the audio, did I? Okay, so Coach is bad on that. Man, that's a really good one. Let me try my best. So basically, he's just pitching him the idea that, like, man, I'd love to get it word for word. I'm going to show you the clip in the future. But he pitches to him, like, so he's undefeated right now. You know, he's already became the champ. And he's basically telling him, you know, so there's this young undefeated guy. Everybody thinks he's even better than you, right? You got this fight lined up with him. You take a dive right here. You're the champ. You're entitled to a rematch. You beat him in the rematch. Then the kid wants the rematch. 3 fights right here. Everybody walks away with $75 million. You're set for life, right? And basically, you know, dude's kind of like hinting that he's not really having it. And, you know, his agent here is like, you know, there's ways to make this happen with or without you, right? You know, a ref that won't go your way if it goes to a ref or a bad stoppage, a judge that won't go your way in a decision, right? He's like, are you threatening me? And he said, he's like, so did I ever walk out of that ring without you knowing what the result would be? And, you know, he just kind of gave him the it is what it is look. Right, so, you know, just telling, he's like, it's entertainment, right? So he's telling you right there, it's all fake, right? But they want you to think these guys are only playing ball some of the time. If they can get them at the height, why would they put any of it in doubt, right? Have them all rigged all the way through, right? Every single, you know, and like maybe they do have a way to do it like without their knowledge, but to me, there's always at least like one stooge in there, right? All the major actors have to be like, if you know the name, you know. But to me, yeah, there's no way you're in the fraternity at all if you're not an actor. But you know, so as far as our hogs, right? We just wanted Darius to make noise in the NBA. He's already poised to do that. Calipari's got his back. He knows NBA talent better than anybody, and he's telling you better not pass on him. You passed on Max, and you look stupid, right? You passed on Shai, and he's a champion. Or maybe you didn't pass. I don't remember. He got drafted, right? But you get it, right? You don't want to miss this guy. So, Coach, let's talk about the draft. Okay, so Coach is going to Pittsburgh for the NFL draft. Okay, if you're going to be going to the draft, let me know if you want to try to, you know, meet up or whatever. But this is the plan. So Coach thought it all the way through. And The draft was in Green Bay last year and had like 200,000 people on day one. And it didn't come close to the record-setting Detroit day one. Okay? So Detroit they had like 275,000 people, but there were so many they had to turn people away. So coach is looking at day one. It's just one round of the draft. Everybody and their mother wants to be there. It's just Nelly. And the real kicker is, if something bad is going to happen, either it be staged or organic, it's going to happen night one when they don't have the shit is figured out, right? And it's going to cause the most chaos, and there's the most excitement, and people are there's just the most energy, right? So coach is going to be up in Mount Washington, so he can see everything. He can see the stadium and stuff from there anyway, right? So, and we're going to know people. Like, we already specifically have people like, okay, our bartender's going to be working this night, right, or whatever. Like, we're still going to get interviews about day one, but we're not risking braving the crowd of day one, which is probably going to be the biggest crowd that's ever been for an NFL draft, and maybe the biggest crowd like Pittsburgh's ever seen, right? Like, so, like, Coach is the type of person, like, when the G20 came around, like, Coach went to like, the next state, like, okay, I'll be back in a week, right? I'm not dealing with this shit, right? So, day one, we're just going to let round one of the draft go by. We're going to study it like a hawk, live on TV. We're going to have our draft boards all in advance, everything, right? But mostly just, like I said, you're going to be getting everybody's reaction to day one. Like, that's how we're going to spend the morning of day two, go around asking people who went, what'd you think, right? What do you think about the pick, blah, blah, blah. And then day two, we're going down because we get 2 rounds of the draft and 2 chains. So 2 rounds and 2 chains, say less, right? Coach is down with that. So rounds 2 and 3, harder to predict anyway, right? I don't think anybody has anybody but Mendoza number 1, right? So rounds 2 and 3, we go down, do like the full experience. It's probably not going to be nearly as crowded, not going to, whatever, bad stuff happened the first day. They should have more security in place or whatever policies. There's a lot of people who think they're going to go for day 2 are going to be too gassed out. They went too hard. They drank too hard, especially in a place like Pittsburgh. There's just going to be, especially, a lot of girls and stuff too. There's just going to be a lot of people who think they're built like that to figure out the next morning. Like, absolutely not. Especially, or maybe they even think the next morning, but then once the night rolls around, like, I'm really going to be out there, like, no way. Right? So I really think you're going to take a significant dip. You could see as big as like a 90,000 in attendance dip from day 1 to day 2, in Coach's opinion, and that's not counting anybody that may be turned away for day 1. So that's just who's going to actually be there. So they're telling you the replacement refs are coming, right? Of course, they should just unionize. NFL, once you get on the wrong side, like, they're trash. They're always going to be trash. There's a reason you don't like the NFL, right? You just don't want to admit it because you associate it with the teams you like, but they're not one and the same. They played football before the NFL came around, I promise you. Right? Coach can tell you, you want to learn about the AAFC, right? Not even to mention the AFL or UF. Like, there's a billion. There's always going to be football. We don't need the NFL. Okay. Now, so September 26th, that's when they did they agreed to terms for the new agreement. So 2026 definitely could be a time where they go on strike again. Coach just likes the term Afro-American. I would have kept that if I was black. Afro-American is hard, and I'd have a big-ass afro. Coach would be obnoxious as hell with his hair if he had that kind of hair. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's old. Sorry. Old. Don't pay attention. Here's your streak Coach told you about. So UConn's, like, pretty much good to bite the bullet in Coach's opinion. I really like Illinois there. Sorry. Now, Let's see. So I love like Macy Barber doesn't see any controversy and went over Miranda Maverick. I won that fight and got my hand raised. Like coach thinks like that's the like super loser energy. I technically won, right? Like if you were actually a killer, you would have said, I broke that hoe's nose or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so you didn't actually do anything except get your hand raised. Like, good for you. Right? That sounds like you're just, in it for the accolades, the old LeBron. Right? I have the most. They gave it to me. It doesn't matter that everybody with common sense knows I'm a bitch. Okay, so let's see. Everybody knows Rob, blah, blah. Rooney Rule. Suns, of course, losing in 76. Another reason for them to go against the 76ers. Dan Marley, Bob Marley. Boom. Boom. Pennsylvania connection. Right, he died in Pittsburgh, but Philly's in the same state. Let's see. Man. Like, I'm so glad I got all the Clippers ones in there because they're not letting me take it now. But, like, I, like, always had this in my mind. It's just, like, didn't feel that good. Like, coach has been tripping. I'm going hard on Sixers, Suns until they don't let me take this either. And don't think coach wasn't smart enough to just take a lot of stuff that's just the Sixers. Right? Like, the Clippers would definitely be way more profitable just because the amount of tickets, right? But coach will still be way good if it's this. We're not going to be jumping off a bridge, right? So Dawn, right? Their first NBA player. What do you know? Undersized guard, 6'1". Gotta love it. Let's see. They got Skip, Dawson, right? Dawson's Creek just died. So there's your Illinois. Harper, Ron Harper's kid just got drafted number 2. Norman. I can't remember. I'm confused. No, there's a lot of Normans. There's Luther, right? Like our 2 Live crew or whatever with Miami. There's Jerry Calangelo. So Sand Sharks, we really think it might be the Sharks winning or being in the NHL Stanley Cup at least. So they used to be the California Seals. Malik Sealy thing came up. Weirdly. Yeah, kept misspeaking on Isaiah Sealy, calling him Malik. Of course, they give him plausible deniability by giving him another player on his team, Malik. So it's like, oh, he was just getting their first name. So like, that's easy. It wasn't just because, blah, blah. So 62, Colangelo graduated. There's 26 flip. So there's the Charles Barkley deal. Like, this is the first time the Sixers have had a big three since Dr. J, McGinnis, and Malone. Or like Tony. Right, swapped out with probably McGinnis. I guess McGinnis probably wasn't there anymore. Right, was it Malone, Irving, and Tony? That's probably the big three. This fucking hinky-dink team. Okay, let's see. I don't care about going. We kind of followed all this. He's close with the toughest sheriff, right, Joe Rapio. Hopefully he goes down. Coach says if you fade Kofi Cockburn, you're getting your cock burned, like for sure. Here's Bruce Weber, the coach. Dude, check this out. Lou Henson for Lon Kruger, so they just flipped the U upside down to an N. So we're going to start flipping U's and N's, right, to see where it works. Let's see. There's a Dion. Runner-up in 2005, so it's like they're doing the Eagles thing and like other teams that did it, right? So if you lose in 04, win in 2024, right? So I'm thinking lose in 05, win the 2025 season. Sounds just about right there. Orange, right? Orange Man Bad, of course. Naked Gun. They just brought that back with Leslie. Instead of Leslie Nielsen, it's now, Liam Neeson, right? They got to do a little joke there. And then, so check this out, right? So coach figured out that Bad Bunny's El Chombo. Macaron. Right, so coach thinks Bad Bunny is El Chombo. And of course, El Chambo's last name is Donalds. What do you know, right? So if somehow you're like a Big Bunny fan and you think that's an insult because all you've heard is El Chacarone, I absolutely promise you, El Chambo bodies Big Bunny. El Chambo is the shit, dude. You're crazy if you don't like El Chambo. You need to listen to way more of his stuff. Forget about there's gonna be like 3 songs that like were like ringtones that are like god awful, like including the Chacaron thing. Like those aren't good, right? Just those handful of songs aren't good. Everything else pretty much is fire. I promise you. You go to like best of or whatever, you won't get too far down for like, whoa, this is all fucking crazy. Honestly, even just going at random, you're probably good. He's really good. So Sweet Lou Dunbar, what do you know? Sweet Lou Dunbar, drafted by the Sixers, like Sweet Lou Williams, right? And what do you know? He played for him in '76. So WNBA sets April 3 expansion draft for Portland Fire and Toronto Tempo. Toronto Tempo, that's awful. This dude, MPJ, I'm guessing that's Michael Porter Jr., is saying basically his 8th grade team could have beat a WNBA team. Coach thinks like Caitlin Clark or Griner or Angel Reese or Audie Crooks or one of them are going to body this dude. I like Griner versus Boogie Cousins. What was this? Some stupid stuff. Oh, yeah, so they're saying, 6 men competed dating show for a beautiful model in the finale. Producers revealed the model was the opposite sex of what they presented as, right? So every single contestant sued the network for psychological damage. So they're just trying to tell you that they're trying to cause you psychological harm. But Coach thinks that if you're that phased out by all this bullshit, you're just like soft anyways, right? Like it just is what it is. Like, yeah, everybody's all fucked up and whatever, but like, what are you gonna do? We're only here for so long anyway. Get over it. Let's see. Or maybe we're here forever, but you're not gonna be in the same body. You're gonna reincarnate or something. Oh my god, my dog chewed up a shoe. Damn you. Okay. So Suns, right? So they sent Redick to the Clippers, right? Redick played for the Sixers as well. Currently coaching the Lakers. Bledsoe, Clipper. We had Bledsoe's Patriots just in the Super Bowl. Selected by the Thunder, who just won the finals. Let's see. Caron Butler makes you think of like Jimmy Butler, who was a Sixer. There's your Malik Sealy stuff. Active in 92. It's a flip of 26. So Coach says, we talked about the cheerleader thing. Are they getting amped and, how do they look, blah, blah, blah. Coach says in the NBA, it's about your bench. And if you need proof, go play NBA Jam on PS3 or 360 and watch, score 1 bucket. Trust me, you'll immediately be drawn straight to the bench and it'll be the best part of the game, the reactions and shit. So, C Webb, what do you know? Chris Webber's name is Mace. How about that? Very interesting, right? Sixer, and you got the Macy Gray stuff. There's your Azzy Fudd beating up on poor old Syracuse. So Coach found this flight that was similar to the LaGuardia crash back in 92. So of course, there's your 26 flip. Notable passenger, Beyonce's dad, who's an actor or something, right? So some stupid shit. Of course. Yep, Queens and Beyonce and Solange. Las Vegas Aces won. Are they doing some sort of card trick? Is it going to be the LA Kings and then the team from Queens? And then with the Steelers, they got Jack Sawyer and they had Jack Lambert. Is that something they're doing? Not sure. Tom Brady was owner. Everyone passed on Maxime Reynaud should be fired. You absolutely know Coach wouldn't have passed on him. Because that was the one surefire NBA prospect Coach had all through college basketball last year. Coach was all about Maxime. So, of course, the Kings get the white Embiid after missing on the original Embiid because the Sixers wouldn't deal the draft pick to them and they had a meltdown. Let's see, Daryl Morey. Ellen just tried to make a comeback. There you go. He's the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history, so good luck working with that. He's going to have a down year. He's not as fired up. He's not going to have to compete for the bag again for a long time. There's your Acme and Blues. Coach is thinking Rivers Cuomo is just Rivers Phoenix with glasses, messed up hair, on after a 5 o'clock shadow, and in clothes like he works at the Gap. right? They just uglied him up. They just made him look like your substitute teacher, but it's River Phoenix. Oh my God, this. Oh my God, how do you look at that? Okay, so WNBA teams now require consent to trade players while they're pregnant. You think this thing is pregnant? You think these things are pregnant? You've never seen Pete Davidson? Okay. So here's Coach's 2K, 56 points, 31 assists on over 50% shooting with 9 steals on Hall of Fame difficulty. And we got 3 boards to go with it. Darius Garland with 41, 11, and 8. Not bad. I can't, like, you think the Cavaliers are smart trading this guy for Harden in his prime? Like, okay, yeah, right. Double standard on the 65-game rule. So, like, everybody always thought Embiid, like, didn't deserve it, blah, 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 right? When now they're, like, crying about, so Jokic finally gets hurt. Of course, he's going to be one crying about it, but mostly the Cade Cunningham, right? So Cade Cunningham, Randall Cunningham, Julius Randle, Julius Irving, right? Yeah, there you go. So the people who push forward are backpedaling now. Coach just says, like, look at this. A fake baby. Like, freaks always pose with a fake baby. That's how you'd hold a baby. Okay. And, like, you think that's a bit, like, you think that's actual dexterity? Like, it's just a doll. Like, you'd squish a baby's ear up all like that, all weird. Okay, so Coach doesn't like this bet. That's too much money. All right, so what has Coach been doing? Coach put $2 to max out Sixers to beat Suns on a 2-leg with the Steelers. Like, that's not awful. $2 for 1.6. You're telling me that can't possibly happen? All right. Coach likes this pick. Okay. I haven't talked about this, but there's this cat named Gore who just was on the wrong end of a statement knockout. He's a fairly big dog in this one. We got the USA guy against a Russian. So, like, he needs a bounce back win. He has 100% finish rate in the UFC. And, like, he just got sober. Like, quit smoking weed, like doing the Josh Gordon thing, right? So, Coach is thinking this is pretty much in the bag. I wanted to take him for a finish, like exact method, but they'll just let you do fight result. But I love Mayweather Jr. tie, Gore winning outright with Sixers to beat Suns, $150 for 1.5. Come on, right? We can't be wrong forever. Terrence Gore, Sixers. Like I said, we've got enough right. If Coach just actually betted on our backup picks and stuff like that, like this, like Coach, this is Coach evolving, if you will, right? So instead of only taking Sixers Clippers this time, we're gonna take some Sixers Suns, right? And I'll even take some where it's like they're just making it, or it's like they're not in there at all. Here's one with Portland and Portugal, right? Like, give us a little bit of leeway. But still, if we're right, they can still all kind of hit together in most cases and do the popcorn effect. Like Coach wants a popcorn effect where, like, I get a bunch of different stuff all at once that equals like $100 million. That's honestly the goal. And especially if we're heading for like a depression or something, like we got to get a bunch of money, turn it into different forms of money and resources, right? Stuff you can trade, or it's recession proof, whatever, and ride it out. Go some island somewhere. So Gore, Sixers winning, Mayweather tie, Steelers win the Super Bowl, $250 for 1.6. Coach is getting serious if he's going off the 50-cent rule, right? Coach really likes these. So $250, Sixers winning, Angels winning the AL, Steelers winning the Super Bowl max out. Guardians versus Mets with Steelers and Sixers winning, $1 for over a
Cousin.
That one I actually wish I would have. Well, I don't know. I just don't trust the Guardians that much, honestly.
Cousin.
But, like, I'll be mad. Oh, yeah, also, Coach's going to clip that together. Appreciate it. All right, gang, Coach wasn't going to do an upload today about, like, any type of serious picks or anything like that. I did post our picks in the post, right? But we'll go over those more in depth in videos. But I figured we could still do a betting with Coach. Coach isn't going to just throw away money. Like, Coach isn't that funny, right? So I don't find the humor in that. So we're going to evaluate a pick Coach just came up with. Okay, so we're kind of going to do a mini video. Coach kind of going to cheat a little bit. Coach kind of going to cheat, okay? But don't hate me for it. Not making you work. You don't have to be here. We're just having fun. Coach trying to make some money. Okay. So, New York. First you got Queens. Okay. With the Archie Bunker thing. Traveling Queen with the Sixers or some others. Right? We really like that they were founded in 62. We think it's, first of all, if this is what they're doing, we're one of the only people who could be on it from knowing about the Macy's Day Parade, right? If we're right on the Macy's Day Parade and they're going to have the Mets win, like right before it, that makes perfect sense to Coach, right? So they evoke the blue of the Dodgers. So we had Yankees, Dodgers. Maybe we have Yankees, Mets, and the Mets win. Like, they might just be going all out. Another contender. Okay, what brought Coach here? Okay, this is what brought Coach here. You tell me Coach didn't have a reason to sound this alarm? What's going on here? Buckner missed 20 calls in one game. For all I know, maybe this guy's been around forever, but has he been around forever blowing 20 calls in a game? Why do they want us to know about Buckner? Of course, that's like Bill Buckner, and you know for damn sure the Red Sox aren't winning. I'm not even going to waste my breath telling you that shit. I've already done it 100 times. If you don't know they're cursed till 2086, you're never going to know by now, right? Coach can only say it so many times, right? So they're toast. And honestly, I did put a couple slips in just because of last year's being Blue Jays versus the Blue Crew. I thought maybe the Reds beat the Red Sox, so I did put in a couple slips for the Red Sox to lose the World Series, not even make the AL. Nothing with just the Sox. Specifically the Reds whooping their ass on like 2 slips was all Coach put in at 50 cents a pop, right? So I wasn't like crazy about it, but it really just doesn't track for Coach. I truly don't believe they're even making another World Series until 2068. At least that's how Coach would write it. So, I mean, unless we're getting Red Sox-Mets rematch and the Red Sox absolutely blow it, which would be hilarious in all, but Coach could definitely go without that heart attack. I don't want the Red Sox anymore near a World Series. I'm going to curse till 2086. I feel really, really good about it. I won't back down even a little bit, even if they're up fucking 10 runs in the bottom of the ninth in Game 6, right? You Mets would have to win a whole one after. I'm still going to be saying, oh, yeah, the Red Sox are about to epically collapse somehow. I would ride it all the way into the ground because I'm that positive. There's just way too many things that indicate the Sox are just doomed. You know, like I said, at least in our lifetimes, right? Unless you're very young reading this or listening to this, or you're listening like maybe 20 years in the future or something, right? So Red Sox popping up, losing in 2068, winning in 2086. So I don't see Buckner as anything to do with them. So that just leaves pretty much the Cubs. He might have played for some other teams, but I'm saying, like, as far as what they drill into us with the history, they tell us he had that Cubs batting glove and he was traded from there, and that was part of it, right? Maybe it's the Cubs, but I don't think so. Maybe somehow Indians-Cubs rematch. But I just do not buy they're doing it as the Guardians. That's awful branding. It's too stupid. They got to get the Indian shit back for Coach to care, right? So, I mean, I might put in a couple slips just as in case shit happens, but, like, I really just don't buy this Guardians team. And I especially don't buy them if they don't have Carlos Estevez, right? They need Emilio Estevez on the team. He actually, after Coach told you that was the guy to watch out for, look who popped up last year, led the MLB in saves. Right, so and what do you know? What did the Guardians, the best player they lose to the gambling scandal was Fireman, right? So he would be a perfect replacement for him. So if we see the Guardians make a move for him, we are going to put some slips in and take them very seriously. But until then, I'm not worried about him. And so as far as Buckner, right, if it's not the Cubs, then that does leave the Mets. Right, so of course, the Mets hit the ball between Bill Buckner's legs. Right, so 62, you flip that to 26. Orange Man bad, New York, Trump. Let's see, blue, it's like the Dodgers and blue crew last year. They're the bad guys. Let's see. Another case for it possibly being Mets Guardians, though, is the whole Superman thing, of course. Metropolis and Superman event in Cleveland. Like, so that could... another reason to like the Mets, though, specifically them, is the LaGuardia Airport thing. Right? They just had some sort of crash with a fire truck, and, of course, you got the fireman. So, I mean, maybe it is Guardians. Right? I think, Coach has really liked the Angels. But... I don't know. I'm just feeling like this is what they're doing right here, like this. It's all there's been. We've had heat around this team. It's not like it's out of nowhere. They've got the Guardians guy. I can't remember his name right off, right? But that player, Lindor, right? Coach told you he was going to smoke the Phillies, and he did, in the playoffs. And this one was like, whoa! You see the manager there. Carlos Mendoza, isn't that our boy Fernando Mendoza? Is Coach smoking crack, or is he getting the name wrong? Like that's that's who it is, right? Fernando Mendoza. Yeah. Okay. Just need to make sure. Okay. So Carlos Enrique Iglesias Mendoza, didn't Enrique Iglesias do that My Hero song to make everybody feel good about 9/11? That could be your hero, baby. Is that somebody else? Hero 9/11. Oh, I knew it was going to be some trash song. Let's see. Yeah, Enrique, boom. You just got a good memory. Okay. Especially for, like, never giving a shit. Like, you think I care about Enrique Iglesias? You know what I mean? It's just, Enrique. All right, so let's see. I mean, it's... What do you want from Coach? I'm not telling you to take him to win the World Series. Put him as the NL champs. We knew they've been good enough for a couple of years. If the Coach told you the Dodgers were the new Yankees, this team's probably just the new Yankees and a freak Brewers run, right? And a hot Padres team away. Sorry, Coach's storage situation is dire, so it cut out again, but I'll stitch it together. So June 6th, he gets his first injection, so that's a 6-6. That's interesting. This is very interesting. Look at that. The game also saw fellow Yankees coach Phil Nevin ejected by home plate umpire Gabe Morales. So the only part that's kind of a little bit hard to read here is like, okay, so is this related to the Mets? Is it related to the Yankees because he's a Yankees guy? But Phil Nevin, that's like, so first of all, this guy also managed the Angels, so it's like, okay, we like that too. He's got a bunch of other teams here. It definitely makes it sketchier, right? But Coach definitely likes it as Angels, Mets, mostly. And then possibly Yankees, Mets, if not, right? But Philip Joseph Nevin, that's like Nevin Shapiro, the Miami booster. Miami was just in the national championship. That's too weird. Right, and of course his sentence commuted by Joe Biden, so of course he'd be out and celebrating, when Trump's in office. And then two sons, Adrian. So there's our Sixers like Rocky thing or whatever. So let's see, we got anything else here? Coach's getting hungry. Sorry about that. I'll definitely cook something up after this. Okay, Coach isn't going to lie to you. Not feeling like doing this right now. Not the whole thing, at least. Right, so let's just chill on the history for now. Let's go up. We're going to look at the championships. And let's look at their minor league teams. Oh, Syracuse. We like that. And that's the Mets orange thing. I mean, but Syracuse orange, man, I didn't even think about that. Okay, so let's see. Coach wanted to mention in 2030, Coach is thinking that's when they're pulling Lions Browns. They don't have a Super Bowl host city announced yet. The reason Coach pegged it is it's Super Bowl 64. And, the last time the Browns won was in 1964. So I'm thinking since Cleveland just built the dome, right, they're going to win that bid. So right on time to at least have a chance for it to be them. So that's coach's pick. Cleveland hosting 2030 and losing the Super Bowl, just like, and then you got Miami of Ohio, right? We just had the Hurricanes host the first hometown national championship, blah, blah, blah. Oh, look, we got to love this. Tom McCarthy, right? We got Mike McCarthy going to the Super Bowl on the Packers, or for the Steelers and winning it, actually. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, it's not like a terribly uncommon name. Let's check out old Melissa McCarthy. So she's in Mike and Molly. I don't know. Mike McCarthy. Wow. Oh, boy. You get it? Wow, that's crazy. It's more just about the joke of this character more than it giving us a huge lead. But, like, clearly Miss McCarthy was on Mike and Molly because of Mike McCarthy. Like, come on. So, I mean, she's pretty big. She might drop. Oh, 26 too. August 26th. Yep, she might be going down. That'd be nice. Oh, I'm not a big fan of hers at all. At least not anymore. She jumped the shark a long time ago if she ever was funny. She takes horrible roles. Oh, Thunder Force. Thunder just won the finals. Yeah, go down, ho. We'd love that. I mean, so that's just a wait and see. Yeah, let's see. Fashion Lines, this can give us anything. It's kind of a weird thing. Any roles, maybe? She was in Disney as the kid. I don't remember that. Bruce Willis. Charlie's Angels. We've got the Angels possibly popping in. Oh, yeah, I forgot she was Snooki. Oh, wait, Sookie. That's right, Sookie. And then, of course, we had Snooki later with the Jersey Shore. Oh, there we go. Boom. Why is she doing something about John Benet Ramsey when we've got Jalen Ramsey winning the Super Bowl? Right now, she's making it. Gotta love it. Okay. So not bad at all there. Totally worthwhile. That's why Coach does the research. I always doubt, but it almost always pays off, like right then and there. So hopefully not a weird series of red herrings or something designed to throw us off the scent, right? I'm pretty sure we're